You're now watching the Gobcast. Viewer discretion is advised. You can now watch the Gobcast in 4K uncensored exclusively on Spotify.
Oh boy, another week, another episode, a beautiful time to be here. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, welcome back to the Gobcast, episode 82. We're here once again taking calls on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday, a different day than we normally take calls. We were meant to take them yesterday on Tuesday. However, LA received one of its only tornado warnings in history, and my internet was down all day. So here we are on Wednesday, taking phone calls once again, and we have an absolutely insane lineup of calls today. But before we go any further into what calls we have and what the topic is for today, yada, 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 I kind of got to vent a little bit, guys, and I'm just going to be up front because normally this is the part of the episode where I would tell you guys how to find the call-in instructions in the topic of the day. Typically, I would say, well, just go follow us on our Gobcast official Instagram or follow me on Twitter, yada, yada. However, just the other day, 2 days ago now, the official Gobcast Instagram was permanently suspended on Instagram. I submitted an appeal, but as somebody who's been banned on Instagram more times than I can count on my fingers, I'll tell you right now, that appeal is going straight into the trash bin at Instagram headquarters. It means absolutely nothing. I don't even know why our official Instagram page was banned. They don't give you a reason when they suspend you on Instagram. All that happens is when you open the app, a little screen that pops up and it says, hey, you're banned, retard. Put your email in and we'll maybe contact you if we care enough to do so. Otherwise, make a new account. So we have a new temporary Instagram while we work on getting unbanned, which we will get unbanned in the near future. I know that with near certainty, but just in case we don't, make sure you follow the Gobcast on Instagram, but this time, there's a dot between the and Gobcast. I'll put the link in the comments below so you guys don't have to go search it up. It's very frustrating to have to do this. I feel like countless times now I've had to come on, whether it's my podcast or my YouTube channel or post on Twitter, and talk about how Instagram has banned me unjustly. And I say the ban is unjust because somehow, despite getting banned over and over and over, I still manage to get unbanned every time, which tells me that it's unjust. It's a temporary setback, but the real reason I'm stressing this to you guys is because the Gobcast Instagram is primarily how we post our phone number. It is the main way that I always tell you guys to, how to find the topic and how to determine what days we're calling in. So things have changed a little bit. From now until whenever we get unbanned on Instagram, if you want to call into the show and you want to find out what days we're taking calls, you just got to follow my personal Instagram or my Twitter account instead. We'll have links for those in the pinned comment below. All you got to do is scroll down and find them. But for the time being, there pretty much is no official Gobcast account. I mean, I just gave you an @ for one, but we have no posts on it because all our posts just got sent to the void. We had a bunch of really fun stuff and it's all gone. Even worse than that is we had two very exciting guests that I was speaking to from the Gobcast official Instagram account that I now have lost contact with because that account got banned, which is super frustrating. And I know a lot of you guys are going to think, well, Goblin, just DM them from your main account. It has more followers. And unfortunately, getting someone who has a lot of followers to check and read their DMs is a total luck of the draw scenario. And we got really lucky by getting these two guests that I'm not going to name yet to check our messages to them. And it's not likely they're going to do that again. I've already hit them up again from the main. No response yet. We'll see how it goes. But with that being said, just be aware that Instagram is not a very big fan of myself or my channels or any of my profiles or any of my shows. So if we get banned one day, if you suddenly log in and you can't find my profile on Instagram, just know that I didn't block you. Instagram just doesn't like me. It's a tough life to live over here. But you, Instagram, go to hell, all right? I don't care. Today, we're here on YouTube, a much better platform, and we're taking some wonderful calls. And today, I gave you all a absolutely stellar topic. I wanted to hear about your crash outs. The biggest crash outs in my community, I begged them to call in today. And I'm going to tell you right now, as someone who listened to many voicemails this morning, they definitely listened up. They called in. We had calls from all sorts of crash out individuals. We had some relationship issues, which I feel like we've heard enough of those. More importantly, we had one guy who got put in special ed classes in middle school, then crashed out so hard that he put his school into a full-on lockdown. We have another dude who called in because he got out of jail yesterday after committing a DUI hit and run. We actually have multiple intoxicated drivers who have called in today. We also have people who have gotten kicked out of parties for their crash outs, and I don't think I want to spoil much more than that because that makes it not very fun. Once we start spoiling stuff, what's the point in watching anymore? But before we actually start taking calls today, I want to talk about one of my crash outs. This is something new that I've kind of started doing. I would like to answer these prompts myself. So when I post on Twitter or Instagram on a caller episode and I tell you guys to call in and tell me about crashing out, from now on, I'm also going to share my stories on the topic. And immediately, when I think of myself crashing out, there's one particular instance that comes to my mind. Years ago, I want to say it was like 4-ish years ago. This is back in 2021. I lived in a much smaller town called Springfield, Illinois. And I had two neighbors next to my house who, I'm trying to figure out how to word this in a polite way, were not desirable neighbors. And those neighbors, one of them was just an old guy who just hated anything. And the person next to him was an employee of the city, specifically an employee of the department that issued the fines and complaints for housing violations. So me being a complete cokehead, bar-tard idiot, I lived in this house that I rented, and I would never mow my lawn. I would never, even my mail, dude, my mailbox was full. It was just piling up on the curb. Who gives a fuck about the mail? I don't care about the mail, right? My grass at one point got so tall that it literally was taller than my fence. It was all the way over my fence. And mind you, my fence was taller than me. So, this wasn't oh, dude, it's some waist-high grass. No, dude, you walk into my backyard and Tarzan could be swinging in there. It was fucked up. But I had some neighbors who weren't really fond of me and weren't fond of my lifestyle. And every time they saw something they didn't like, they would report it to the city, and I would get a letter in the mail with a fine. It was a bill that would tell me, hey, you better pay $125 for this violation or else we'll take you to court. And they did this for months on end. And they would file complaints for everything. One time I had my car parked in a way they didn't like. I had a couple friends over and I had moved my car slightly onto my lawn. I got a fine in the mail for that. My grass being too long, I probably got a fine every single week, but good luck, bro. I'm not going to cut that shit. I vividly remember getting other fines that were much, much worse for stupider shit. One time I had a couch that I had gotten a new couch, and my old one that was a hand-me-down from the previous tenant of the crib, I had moved out to my driveway, right? And I left it at the end of the driveway because that's where you put garbage, right? The garbage company is going to come around. Well, according to the city, if you leave any sort of furniture out visible on your property, outdoors at all, even if it's on the curb where they collect garbage, you're in trouble. I got a fine in the mail for that. And I was not paying these fines, but my landlord was hitting me up and just consistently getting pissed about it, being like, hey, I got another letter in the mail. Because mind you, they're sending these fines both to the address, where I'm living, and to the registered owner's address, my landlord. So I'm getting all these messages from my landlord hey, you got another fine. I'm going to add it onto your rent, yada, yada, yada. So I ended up paying it anyways. And one night, I did a bunch of fucking caffeine, a disgusting amount of K. Truly, I couldn't feel any of my limbs anymore. And I don't know what it was. I think I'd gotten a letter that day, if I remember correctly, or recently, leading up to this K-hole. I'd gotten another fine, and it was just the final straw. I'd fucking had enough. Because mind you, these neighbors had never come over and spoke to me about it. I didn't even know what these people looked like, right? They legitimately were just everything they had wrong with my property. They would just file a complaint to the city. So finally, I was like, yo, I'm on enough caffeine to not care anymore. It was 2 a.m. I was pissed. I went down to my kitchen. I literally, I can close my eyes and picture this occurring. I went down to my kitchen, and on top of the cabinet, my leftmost cabinet, to the left of my dishwasher right by the garage door, is this stack of letters. Probably 50% of them were complaints from the city telling me, hey, pay up, you dumb fuck. and I got sick of it. I said, I've had enough. I'm going to write a letter back to the neighbor. So I literally pulled out a piece of notebook paper and I just scribbled some ketamine-ass writings on it. And I don't remember word for word what I wrote, but it was along the lines of like, yo, fuck you, neighbor. Mind your business, you fucking cocksucker. Like, it was horrible. And it was a very unneighborly thing to write. And at 2 a.m, I walk outside, Kate out of my mind, in nothing but my underwear, holding this letter with a piece of scotch tape on it. And I walk over to my neighbor's house and I slap it on his door facing inwards. And my neighbor, I knew he was the one calling. It was him and the person next to him. I only had one letter. I didn't have enough energy in me for 2 letters. So he was the neighbor that got it. Slapped that shit on his door. I walked back over. I even rang his doorbell when I did it, bro. I was down, dude. I remember. I don't remember if I rang or not, but I remember I definitely did just stick it on the door and leave. I wanted someone to answer that door. I was ready to fight, dude. If Gramps answered that door in that moment, I probably would have swung. Should I have swung? Probably not. I was a shitty neighbor, but ketamine me thought I was a great neighbor. So I go back home, and I remember the following day. It was like 6 or 7 p.m. It was after work time. I honestly barely even remembered leaving this note. But my neighbor and the other neighbor, so these 2 households came together and pulled up on me and rang my fucking doorbell. And I remember answering the door. I'm like, yo, what's up? I don't remember this part very well because, mind you, I was on ketamine this day too. But it went something along the lines of like, yo, what's your problem, dude? Fucking come outside if you got a problem. I'm like, bet. You picked the wrong one. I'll come outside right now. I'm not a fighter or anything, but you give me some ketamine and file complaints on my house for 6 months straight. And dude, I'll swing. I'll make it happen. So I step back outside and the neighbor, the old guy whose house that I left the note on, is out there with the other neighbor on the other side who worked for the city, and his whole family's out there. He brought his daughter out. The girl's 7 years old. The whole family's outside. Literally, the guy's getting in my face. The daughter's standing right there. He's sitting there and we're just rage baiting each other. He's like, swing on me. I'm like, no, you swing on me, bro. We're going back and forth. I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but I remember we both had come to an agreement that we shouldn't fight right now because his daughter was there. It's like, yo, send your daughter back inside. And he's like, no, I'm not going to make her go inside. But if she wasn't here, I'd fuck you up. And I'm like, well, you should send her back inside so I can fuck you up. And he's like, no, this is America. My daughter has free will. And I'm like, all right, dude, but I'm not going to, I'm just not going to fight you in front of your daughter. You got to send her inside. And he's like, yeah, and I'm not going to fight you in front of my daughter. But if she wasn't here, I'd fuck you up. It was one of those things, it was one of those confrontations where no one there really wanted confrontation. But we can't say that. We got to do a little bit of role play, so we're beefing with each other. That was probably my most notable crash out. After that day, never in my fucking life did I interact with those neighbors again. I kept getting letters in the mail, but it was all right, dude, do I want to have another showdown on my lawn? And I lived right off a main road. So there was, honest to God, probably people filming it from their cars. There's probably a video of this incident out there somewhere. I'm not begging for it. I don't want to see that, I was Kate the fuck up. Don't show me that shit. But that's my crash out story for the day. That's my crash out incident. But I don't want to hear from me, and you guys are probably sick of hearing from me after all these years. So let's hear from some crash out callers, shall we? All right, so I think fittingly enough, the first caller that we're taking today is someone who just got out of jail, according to themselves. They haven't even been out for 24 hours, and they committed they committed a felony. We'll leave it at that. Let's listen in. I'll let him take the torch here.
Hey, Goblin, huge fan. Crazy that I'm even calling in. I've been watching since 2017.
Thanks.
I just got out of jail.
That fucking sigh was that came from deep inside. You can tell by that sigh alone, this guy's dead fucking serious. Listen, a lot of you that call in and you make up a little story, I can tell. All right? The despair in this guy's voice tells me that he's got some real shit to spill today.
Yesterday hasn't even been 24 hours. I was involved in a hit and run that I caused. I fled the scene, and miraculously somehow my car made it as far as it did, but it broke down. Cops showed up on the scene, did all the tests and shit, spent the night in the dunk tank, and now crazy. I'm even calling, but if you want to hear more, just call me back. Hey,
This
Goblin,
guy. Oh,
huge fan.
I didn't mean to loop the voicemail. Oopsie. This guy's lawyer would have a fucking brain aneurysm if he listened to this voicemail and then the call that's about to occur following. But as someone who's also gotten a DUI and then spent a drunken night in jail as a result, I am very intrigued to hear this story because everyone's DUI story is wildly different, okay? I feel like the rest of the country, like if you're from like a coast, West Coast, East Coast, drunk driving is like a vehemently disgusting thing. Like you literally, you recoil at the thought of a drunk driver. You're like, oh, you scumbag fuck. In the Midwest, if you don't have a Dewey, it's like, oh, like you're new to this shit. Like you're not even, are you even from here or what? In Wisconsin, dude, I think they give you a Medal of Honor for your first DUI, dude. Like they really support that shit. Let's call him though. First day out, dude. What's it like? You dropping a track or what?
Hello.
Yo, you're on the Gobcast. You mind being recorded?
Oh shit, let's do it. Yo,
I heard it's your first day out of jail, dude. How's it feel?
bro, I just dropped 6,000 on a lawyer.
Oh, no.
I know, bro.
You know, your
Bro.
lawyer would probably tell you not to have this conversation right now.
Well, let's not have it. So
No, let's have it for sure. You already left the voicemail, dude. You already did the dirty work.
oh yeah, I guess. Let's just hope this doesn't. Well, it is, but I don't know.
Listen,
We
I'm going to
already
tell you
lost
right
him.
now, there's thousands of drunken hit and runs committed every day. As long as you don't say your name, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, I don't plan on saying anything personal. It's
Yeah,
just
I've
my
committed
first
some
ever.
drunken hit and runs in my day. You know, it's okay. But tell me about this. What happened on this fateful night that you crashed and got drunk?
So I was going to go get food.
Okay.
I had some Baker's Club, some whiskey. On my way back, I ran an intersection, smashed into another vehicle, and then I fled the scene.
Like you just blew a
My
red
car-
light and T-boned somebody?
It was a yellow, so I didn't
Mm.
slow down, and they were turning left, and I smashed into them, and then my car was totaled, but somehow I made it to some place that I needed to be because I fled the scene.
Uh-huh.
And then the cops showed up because my car broke down, and then I got booked, and I got released yesterday.
Oh, so you were, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you hit this person in the intersection, kept going, and then your car died before you made it wherever you were headed?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. So when your car dies, run me through this. Like, what do you do? Do you just sit there and wait, or do you call somebody, or like, how do you react when your car died?
Bro, when my car died, I got out of it like right away, and I was like panicking, freaking the fuck out. And this random lady was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Did you see what happened?" And she was like, "No, I just seen your car. Like, are you good?" And I was like, "Bro, please give me a ride." And so she like was literally like getting my passenger. She took me to where I needed to be, and then I went back on scene because obviously my car was there, and the cops were already there. There were 3 cop cars.
Oh my, dude, you were literally home free. Do you realize that?
Dude, I fucked up. I was gonna get caught either way.
Yeah, for sure. But like like crashing a hit and run is one crime, but like you going back to it is probably what got you the DUI.
Well, yeah, for sure, but I just paid 6,000 for a lawyer, so it's all in his hands now.
I mean,
It was going to be 8,000, but he knocked it down a little.
6K is a good fucking lawyer, bro. You must be eager to fight this.
Dude, yeah, bro. It's my first ever charge, and I fucked up really bad. I'm glad everyone's okay. The person I hit,
Mm-hmm.
it was a husband and wife, and the husband refused medical service, but the chick got checked out, but she was cleared, and nobody was transported or anything.
Do you know
and
if
I
their
still don't
car was
even have
totaled too?
charges. Yeah, it was. Yeah, bro, I fucked up really bad. And I still don't even have any charges against me, like posted. They're still pending, but I don't know. It's all in my lawyer's hands now.
So when you show back up on the scene and presumably you're still fucked up and there's cops sitting next to your car, what do you do? Like, do you just walk up to them and be like, hey, I did that. Sorry for leaving? Or like, what
Yeah,
did you?
that's exactly what I did. I took full accountability up till then. I got out of the car I was brought back in, and I saw them. They were looking inside my car and everything, and I just said, hey, that was the one driving. And they were like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. They were like, do you need like medical attention? And an ambulance ended up like pulling up right behind us, and I said no. So the ambulance left, and then they said they smelled the odor, and that was that. It was wraps.
Oh, did they like give you the field sobriety test, or did you just
They
fold and be
did,
like, yeah, I
bro.
was drunk?
No, they gave me the tests, and you know how they are. You've been through it. If you say
Yep.
no, it's already automatic, and if you do it, you're still fucked. So
Yeah, you
I
kind
was
of have no
fucked either way.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah, and no, I'm not gonna get into the details, but they didn't do him. One of the field sobriety tests wasn't correct as it was stated on the paperwork, so
Hmm.
I'm gonna fight that. My lawyer's fighting it.
Oh yeah, I mean any sort of like any opportunity where they fuck up the process, yeah, a good lawyer's gonna fight that for you. I mean, I remember
Yeah,
when
dude.
I got stopped for driving on a suspended license, and I got a pretty good attorney, and it got dropped completely in court because they didn't follow proper like documentation. Like they had no records of the ticket on paper. All they had was dash cam. My lawyer was like, they didn't write anything. Fucking dismiss this. So you might be lucky here, dude. If they fucked up, you might be in the clear.
Yeah, but I'm still fucking terrified because of the shit I caused. I
Yeah.
don't care about my car or anything, but like I'm such a bro. I'd hate me if I was the other person I hit, bro. I'm a dick.
Oh, 100%. Bro, the other party fucking hates you. Like, there's no
Yeah,
avoiding that. They do hate you. And also,
yeah,
I mean, objectively, drunk driving at the end of the day, I say this as a person with a DUI, is fucked up and a bad decision to make. But it sounds like you
yeah.
realize that, you know?
Oh, 100%, dude. They treated me like shit in jail too. I was refused. I didn't get a phone call or anything. And when I got let out, I was let out on some random side street, and I was told to figure it out. So I had to walk like 30 minutes to some random ass gas station.
Dude, they tried to do that to me, and I got really lucky that my mom picked up the phone at 6 a.m. and picked me up, because otherwise I would have had to do the same fucking thing, and it would have been
But
bad.
bro, even before, when I was in the booking station before I actually got to jail, the cop was like, my arresting officer was like, yeah, I'll give you a phone call before we go to jail. Never got one. When I got to jail, some of the COs would just look at me and turn away, and then some others would be like, all right, yeah, and then just never come back. And then when I got released too, they said no.
They must just really fucking hate drunk drivers in your county. I don't know.
Bro, I'm not going to say where I live, but I have one of the highest rates in my state.
Like, your state is one of the like drunkest?
Yes.
Are you in the Midwest?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's all I need to know. All right. Okay. I probably know what state you're in, but I'm not going to say it. But
Yeah, let's not.
yep. Okay. So you're spending the night in jail, and they just have you in holding. You're laying on the cold metal bench, waiting to sober up.
Yeah, bro. Exactly that. I got thrown in the dunk tank with, first it was just me and then two other dudes ended up showing up over the night. But yeah, bro, I slept on the cold ass floor. Fucking, ugh.
So when you get out
Dude,
in
you
the
have
morning, what was your first thing that you wanted to go do? Like, who did you even call, or what did you do?
hit my vape. I wanted my vape super bad. I wanted my vape so fucking bad. I didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Did
I said,
you
I asked,
have a vape? Like, did they give you one?
no, so when I got to the scene of the crash, I still had my phone and my vape on me, and I left it with somebody. And so when I got out, I didn't have my phone. I had nothing. So I had to walk to a random ass gas station. I was gonna ask somebody to bum a cig, but I didn't.
No, you got out
My
with
first
no
thing,
vape and no phone.
yeah, but I was cooked. I walked 30 minutes to some gas station, and I called my folks, and then they came and got me. And I haven't slept really since all that happened because I've been on trying to get shit taken care of. And then I
Yep.
just paid just now, right before you called, like not even an hour ago, I wired the money to my lawyer.
Dude, DUIs are expensive as fuck. Like,
Bro, and mine's not even just a DUI. I have the fleeing of a scene.
oh, so you're gonna owe some extra money.
That's why it was so expensive. Yeah, because I told him all my charges and everything. He's a good lawyer. Told him all my charges, told him everything that happened, and he told me basically the rundown of what I might get hit with, and it could be upgraded to bodily harm. Could, but as of right now, it's just fleeing the scene and DUI.
And this is your first time getting in trouble, you said?
Yeah, first ever.
Damn. I mean, I don't know exactly like what jurisdiction you're in or how they'll react, but first time offender, like, I don't think you're going to go to jail. You're probably.
Oh, dude, I hope not.
I mean, I have been in court in, I would say, worse situations than you are right now, with a far cheaper lawyer than you are describing paying for. And I was relatively okay. However, the state typically, especially Midwestern states, when you get a DUI, like, dude, they're gonna run your pockets. Like,
Yeah, bro.
The $6,000 is just the start, dude. You're gonna have to pay court fees. They're probably gonna send you to a school that costs money for every class. They're gonna likely put you on either probation or court supervision, and both of those costs, you know.
Hopefully, what I was advised from my lawyer was that now it's completely, since I'm paying so much for it was going to be more, but I got a little steal off, only a little off, but since I'm paying so much for the lawyer, he told me that they're going to appear for me in court and everything, and I just have to sit here and just wait.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have to show up until the ball's really rolling. Your lawyer's going to handle most of the introductory and, you know, the discovery and all that shit.
So hopefully it gets, best case scenario, it gets dismissed completely, because this lawyer I got is a known criminal defense lawyer for DUIs, and I know a few people that have gone through him and had way more convictions than me, and they all got dropped. So it doesn't say the same for my case, but it gives me a little hope.
So what do you think, now that you've been through this experience, you've gotten arrested, you've had to pay for a lawyer and everything, what advice would you give to like someone who's out drinking, going out tonight maybe? Like, should they just call an Uber, or how could they avoid ending up in your situation?
If you do anything stupid or illegal, if you're driving under the influence, do not break any other laws if you choose to do that. I'm not going to sit here and say not to drink and drive or don't.
Yeah.
Obviously don't.
Motherfuckers are going to do it either way.
If you do it, just don't do anything else stupid that'll amplify the worst scenario.
Yeah.
And just be precautious about everything. Know your limits. Stand up to what you did if you do it.
Do you regret going back?
Play the game smart now that you're in it. I was gonna have to go back either way, so I was fucked either way. There was no really getting out of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess you got to get your
car
car
was
somehow.
Because I did the hit and run in this one county, and I made it to another county, and my car got boloed.
Oh,
multiple
shit.
witness. Yeah, it was right in the middle of an intersection. Originally I got out of my car and I was about to go exchange, but I just freaked the fuck out and I left.
Damn, yeah. Dude, if you went across county lines and I had a bolo out for you, yeah, it's you're in some deep shit at that point.
Yeah, it was wrapped. Yep, it was wrapped.
Yeah, well, you know,
it was fucked no matter what.
I think your saving grace here is you don't have a record, and it sounds like you genuinely regret it. You know, I think a lot of people go into these situations and they show up to court and like they don't really regret it, and that's pretty recognizable by the judge most of the time. But like, it sounds like you actually give a shit, so I think you'll probably be okay. And it sounds like you probably learned just call an Uber every single time you drink, because collectively it will cost less than this outcome.
Oh yeah, dude. This is the most money I've spent at like once for like a situation like this. So yeah, never again.
Yeah, $6,000 will buy you a lot of fucking Uber rides, dude.
Oh fuck yeah, that give me
a
Uber
lot
forever.
of fucking Ubers. Well, you know, I wish you luck in your situation. I appreciate you calling in, and I'm just glad everyone's okay in this scenario, both them and you. You know, it could have been a lot worse.
It could have, bro, and I could have still been in jail right now. But thank God and thank the outcome, and I'm just gonna work towards getting this over with. I got what's it called on my TV right now? I got the new Gobcast episode with the Lost Brother from the Hood.
Let's go.
It should just dropped 45 minutes ago.
Let's go, dude. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that podcast holds you down while you probably can't drive anymore.
Actually, my license is completely fine.
What?
I have two cars, and
Oh, I know what state you're in for sure. Yeah, okay, I know what state you're in. All right.
I just had to do it. I had to do a little thing for the MVD, and my lawyer took care of it, so my license is completely fine.
That's fucking crazy. Well, just make sure you drive sober then. Make sure you no more drinking before you whip.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for calling in, man. Thanks for tuning into the show. I appreciate it, man.
Of course, see you, bro.
You have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye. Dude. He drives into a fucking car in an intersection, totals both his and the other party's vehicle, fucking flees the scene, comes back in an Uber saying like, yo, my bad, that's my car, I crashed that, goes to jail, gets out the following day, and his license is not suspended. I'm not going to say what state that is, but as a Midwesterner, I know what fucking state that is. There's some places in the country which, honestly, it boggles my mind. A DUI is borderline legal in some places. There's a few states where DUIs, your first offense is not even a crime, technically. It's a civil offense. It's a traffic offense. It is a ticket. It's almost no different than like going 15 over the speed limit. It's the same outcome, which personally I think is fucked up. And as someone who has a DUI, I honestly think the punishment should be stricter, because even my outcome, the punishment I got, where I got my license suspended for about a year, I had to pay a good amount in court fines, I had to do community service. That wasn't even really enough to deter me. Not saying that I'm drunk driving every day now, but more so like I wasn't deterred from drunk driving by the punishment. I was deterred from drunk driving by the realization of like, oh, that could have been a lot worse, and what I did was pretty fucked up. Not everyone has that realization, and for those people, they need a punishment to deter them. And if you don't give a punishment to deter them, then like, what stops a drunk driver? You know, when I was young and fucked up and kind of ignorant, I didn't even think about that kind of stuff. But now that I'm older, driving around, I'm always thinking like, dude, some drunk fuck could just like blow through an intersection and like kill me right now, you know? And like, what do you do to stop that? Nothing. You're just shit out of luck. You just got the short end of the stick. That's why you shouldn't drunk drive, you know? But the next call we have on the list, this one is intriguing to say the least. We have an individual calling in who apparently was placed in the special need classes in middle school. In 7th grade, he was chilling in a sped class, and his teacher was a piece of shit, according to him, and he snapped, physically snapped. We'll listen to the voicemail here. Let's see.
Yo, what's up, Gabi? I got a story about when I was crashing out. I think I was in fucking 7th grade, but they used to put me in the special needs classes, and my teacher...
He makes it sound like he graduated. Like, yo, I figured it out. I just had a rough couple of years. We're good now. Maybe he did. Congrats, if
was
so.
Like actually a piece of shit, and everyone hated her. And so I had one day where I just completely fucking flipped out and crashed out on all the students and the teacher in that class and my IEP manager. And I ended up causing a fucking school lockdown over it. The cops got involved. And
so for those of you guys who are curious what he means when he says IEP manager, I mean, I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to ask him, but my understanding is that something called an individual education plan or something along those lines. You know, maybe change up the words a little bit. But the reason I know this is because when I got kicked out of my main high school and sent to alternative school, I was basically surrounded by kids who were in these situations. I was there because I was just a degen drug addict who didn't do his homework. But I had some friends who legit had like, you know, anger issues or something that required like an individual learning plan for them. And those kids would be throwing textbooks. So the way I envision the guy leaving this voicemail is like he's probably tomahawking a math book at his teacher and like knocking her the fuck out. You know, but let's finish the voicemail either way.
It was fucking crazy. I was running around the school doing a bunch of wild shit. But if you want the full story to that, call me back. And
all right, dude, let's hear the special ed kid, dude, and why he's crashing out. What did he do? They denied me my peanut butter jelly. Oh, I hope this guy, please pick up the phone, dude. Oh, my God.
Hello?
Yo, you're on the Gobcast. You mind being recorded?
No fucking shot.
Dude, I heard you crash out in the special ed classes, bro. What's up with that?
Yes, I fucking did. All right, so
wait, hold on. Before we even jump into this, can I ask, why were you in the special ed classes?
Okay, so I had Tourette syndrome. Do you know what that is?
I know what Tourette's is, yeah. That's a pretty commonly known thing.
Yeah. California groups that shit into the special needs group.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind of fucked
so
up.
I spent through basically second grade up until end of middle school in that shit.
Okay, that's kind of fucked. So it's
hella fucked.
Was your crash out like a symptom of your Tourette's, or was it something else entirely?
It was, I kind of had bipolar too.
Okay.
A little bit as a kid. So they also grouped anger management into just the special needs class. Any mental problems they grouped into one class.
It sounds like a bad mixture. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I used to they had so many fucked up kids in that class. So I would just try to be in there sitting doing my work and shit.
Mm.
And I would have kids sit around my desk all day. To kill myself and the most absurd fucking shit you could think of. It was fucking bad. And my teacher would sit on her fucking ass all day and do nothing and just sit and on Twitter and not give a fuck. And I went into it one day because I had an IEP meeting, and this was 7th grade.
What is an IEP, by the way?
So an IEP is a contract you have with a school district saying that you are a special needs student where you have to have certain accommodations, and if the accommodations aren't met, it can be a legal problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went into it one day. I was having an IEP meeting with my teacher and my IEP manager, and I looked at my mom and I told her, I'm like, I swear to God, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tell her my problem right now is I'm being, my teacher is going to say, no, you're not. And my mom's being all sweet, no, don't think of it like that. That's not going to happen. I walk in, I sit down, I'm like, I'm being bullied. Before I can finish my sentence, my teacher looks at me and she's like, no, you're not. So I flip shit and I go over and throw a few chairs. And
whoa. Wait, slow down. No, all right. In the moment where your teacher says this, she's like, no, you're not being bullied. Describe give me a play-by-play. Did you literally flip the table and just pick a chair up, or what happened?
Yeah, no, I was already so fed up with her shit. I've been doing this for 8 months now. So as soon as she said that, I just flipped the desk and threw the chair.
Did you make any contact with the chair?
Done. Yeah, no, I went straight to flipping the desk and throwing the chair because I was just the bullshit, and all the people that would stand at my desk all day and say that fucked up shit was just mentally draining.
Did you hit her with the chair? Was it a good throw?
No, I just threw it at the wall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't assault her, thank God. But
I mean, I think
after
you
that,
probably should have, but
yeah, I would have liked to, definitely. But I was trying to be smart about that.
Yeah.
But I went out, I calmed down for a bit, I went back in, I tried to sit down again and tell her that, and she just went right back to no, you're not. So I flip shit again. I go outside and I go into the bathroom and I start grabbing wet wads of like toilet paper and paper towels and shit and going in and out of classrooms and throwing them at the fucking whiteboards and shit while like school is in session and like just yelling shit saying like the special needs teacher is a fucking cunt and fuck the IEP management. They're all pieces of shit. And I'm going out in the parking lot kicking down cones and whatnot. I go back into the bathroom and my teacher locks me in the bathroom. And I'm like trying to fight my way out, like trying to push open the door, and she's trying to lock me in there. Now, they take me in on a 50 at that point. That teacher apparently got and fired.
But your teacher got fired for that, you said?
Yeah, for basically kidnapping. They locked me in the bathroom against my will.
Oh, yeah, they can't do
and
that.
I guess during that whole scene, they called in a school lockdown. So it was like hella crazy. I had to idea about it. But like later, like freshman year and then like second year of high school, I had probably fucking 100 random kids come up to me that I had no idea who they were. Just be like, "Are you?" I just totally name dropped.
We can bleep that. That's not
Whatever,
a problem.
that's fine.
Can
Honestly,
you make a note
I don't give a shit. There's a lot of
can you make a note to
kids that
bleep
know
a
me.
name at 45 minutes? Okay. No, we're good. We'll bleep your name. You're fine.
But they'd come up and be like, "Yo, are you so and so?" And I'd be like, "Oh fuck, yeah," because I was so used to come up where people come up and being like they have beef with me. And it'd be like, "Yo, dude, you got that special needs teacher fucking fired and arrested that everybody hated. Thank you." And
So you're
I
the
was just
hero.
like, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I had a lot of people that low key were like thanking me for it, and I was like, "This is so fucking weird. I don't like this."
You had the entire special needs squad like almost hoisting you up. Like when you see like a football team win a tourney and they like hoist up their quarterback and pour Gatorade on him, that was you.
Yeah, no, they were hella happy about it. Everyone was just like, fucking thank God. They finally got like a better teacher at that school that like actually gave a shit and whatnot, so it was good.
But you said when they had locked you in the bathroom, they ended up that day. Did you say they 5150'd you?
Yep, they 5150'd me after that, and that was not very fun.
Describe that. How long were you in the psych ward after that, or like what happened?
Oh God, that's a whole nother story. So I didn't go to the psych ward that time.
Mm-hmm.
I got out on that one because of what the teacher did. Basically, it was considered abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But I did go to a psych ward a separate time where I saw crazy shit. Like, there was one kid who fucking had his head cut off while we were in the psych ward. Like,
What?
some kid literally, like, smuggled 2 fucking plastic sporks and spent the entire night sawing this kid's head off with him. And then everyone woke up to just, like, utter fucking chaos in the morning. And I'm just, like, looking at them wheeling this dead kid out of his room with his head, like, hanging on by, like, bone and skin. And some worker comes up and he's, like, bumping my shoulder and he's like, "Hey." And he hands me a fucking mop. And they, like, want us to mop it up. And they look at me and I'm like, "I don't want to do that." And he's like, "Well, you can mop up the dead kid or we can give you a shot in your ass that's going to put you to sleep for 16 hours. It's your choice."
What the fuck?
Yeah, nah, dude, psych wards are fucking crazy. You don't ever want to go in one.
Oh, and you're just sitting there and you're like, man, I just say fuck sometimes involuntarily.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, literally. Like, I got problems, but I don't think this is the place I need to be.
So I'm kind of curious, if you don't mind speaking on it at all, like, what is your Tourette's like? Like, I have a basic understanding of Tourette's where, like, people have different tics, but, like, do you have something that you do, like, as a symptom of your Tourette's?
Yeah, actually, so I used to, like, pop my neck hella and shit.
Okay.
And do, like, twitch movements and a lot of, like, it was more of, like, physical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that eventually got to the point where do you know like the discs in your spine, how it's like built up of different discs?
Yeah.
So I ended up fracturing my C1 disc right below my skull from popping my neck all the time from Tourette's. And I didn't know about it because I was going to the doctor all the time when I used to live in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Nevada now, way fucking better.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to live in Cali. I was going to the doctor for that shit all the fucking time. They're always like, it's muscular problems. And I would be like, you're a fucking liar. And I moved here after probably 4 or 5 years of dealing with that in Cali. Second I moved here, I go to the doctor, I get an x-ray, because I was getting x-rays probably every month. I've had well over 1,000 x-rays done.
Damn.
And I move here, get one x-ray done. The doctor walks in, he's like, not only should you technically be paralyzed from the waist down, not only should you be technically paralyzed from the neck down, you should be fucking dead. The fact that you're not is technically a miracle, and you need to go get this fixed like now, because it's putting pressure on your spinal cord, which will kill you. And I was like, oh shit. So I flew out all the way to Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic, and I got the surgery done there.
Oh shit.
And I'm good now.
Is your Tourette's something that like gets better over time, or do you still have issues with like cracking your neck or like having like your tics or whatever?
It's gotten a lot better over the years as I've gotten older, because I'm 18, like almost 19 now. I'll be 19 in February. But it's definitely still a problem. Like, I still pop my neck and shit all the time, and I was told I really should not. And I still have like different shoulder movements and shit.
God, you got me tripping because I crack my neck all the time, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, it's bad. You really shouldn't. But I understand how hard it is not to.
Oh, man. Well, after this incident, the whole thing unfolded. You know, you got your teacher fired. You got 5150'd and then got out of that. Were you still attending the same school, or did they kick you out? Or like, what were the school consequences of this?
Oh, they hella kicked me out. They were like, you are expelled. You are to never come back ever on this property again. We will press charges.
Oh, that's
and I'm
fucked
like, that's
up.
Cool.
They trespassed you for the teacher rage baiting you? That's fucked up.
Yeah, no, for real. It was hella gaslighting. And then they were just like, no, you can't come back. And I'm like, that's honestly fine. I probably wasn't going to anyways.
That ain't right. That ain't right. Man, fuck them teachers.
I did homeschool after that, and that was way better because I excelled way more, and I ended up getting like a 3.33 GPA, I think it was.
I feel like I wouldn't be able to focus in homeschool. I would get distracted.
Honestly, it was hella different. Like, if you're someone like me who has a really hard time being around like a fuck ton of people at once, being at home in your own environment kind of helps.
Yeah. It
like,
calms
I like
the senses
being around people, but going to a school that has like fucking 2,000 or more kids kind of bothered me.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking people to be around every day.
Yeah, I used to live in Sacramento, so it's...
Oh, yeah, that is a big city. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, you know, I'm glad to hear that you got out fine, and I ended up in a better schooling situation. And you know, fuck that teacher. It sounds like as well.
Yeah, no, fuck that bitch. She definitely probably regrets what she did.
Well, you know, I appreciate you calling in and sharing your story today, and hopefully you crack your neck a little less in the future.
Yeah, no, for sure. I appreciate you calling back, Gabi. It was good to talk to you.
Of course. You have a good rest of your day, Ben.
You too, man.
Dude, yo, if I looked at my math teacher who flunked me and I flipped the table and tomahawked a chair at him, I'd be in jail, okay? All you need is a little doctor's note saying you say fuck inadvertently every 5 minutes, and all of a sudden you can tomahawk chairs at the teachers. That's what I got out of that call. But also that guy's psych ward story, I mean, I I've been to psych ward a few times. It's pretty rough. I don't know if that rough, but I guess it varies state by state. I think the real issue with the psych ward and people that get 5150 is like when you're a minor, especially, they literally bundle everyone together. When I was younger and I got committed to the psych ward, there was like 3 wings of the psych ward. No, there was 4 actually. So there was the adult mental health wing. There was the adult addiction wing, which was different. And then for some reason, for minors, they had it separated differently, where it was just all of the minors that were both drug addicts and mental health patients in one ward. And then for some reason, they had an entirely separate ward for eating disorders. And I'm not exactly sure, because obviously they're not like telling us who's in there, but I believe that was like a mixed adult and minor ward. It was just all eating disorder stuff. And like when you mix up the drug addicts with the mental health patients, or when you just bundle everyone there for mental health into the same ward, you're going to end up with some crazy ass shit. I mean, the stuff that guy described, it sounds unbelievable, but as someone who's been in the psych ward, it's not that unbelievable. Like, people are very violent in there, and they bundle violent people with non-violent roommates because they put them in the same category. It's like, this guy's mentally ill, this guy's mentally ill. There's no discrepancy between whether or not someone is violent and not violent, whether or not someone is, constantly crazy or triggered by something that makes them go crazy. There's no discrepancy. They just throw you in a room and, hey, don't kill each other. We took the door off the room, so you won't kill each other, surely, right? Well, behold, by the sounds of this guy, yeah, they absolutely fucking do that. The next call we have here, though, is from somebody who, I don't know how to describe this one, but he describes slamming his step-aunt into the ground and fracturing her wrist. And the way he describes it makes it sound like it was justified. But I've been sitting here for probably an hour trying to run this scenario through my head. Like, in what galaxy? Like, what would my step aunt have to do, or my real aunt, for me to body slam her so hard she fractures her wrist? And I don't know. It would have to probably be nothing short of stabbing or shooting me. I don't know. Because even a firm swing, like, dude, I'd beat the brakes off my step aunt in a real fight. So, like... Or my real aunt, too. I'd fuck them all up. Every single one of them bitches could get rocked. So, like, I have to contain myself in that scenario. So for this guy to just be like, no, fuck it, I'm rocking my step aunt. Dude, she must have stabbed his whole family or something. Let's listen in, though.
Hey, Goblin. I wanted to call you today, give you a good story about how I slammed my step aunt into the ground, causing her
a good old story. No, just a good story.
Fracture her wrist, which eventually caused her to get dishonorably discharged from the military. If you want to hear about that, just give me a call back, man. I got a couple other situations like that too, but yeah, big crash out. On accident too. My bad. On accident.
He sneaks in the on accident at the end. No, I don't believe it. I don't believe that he snuck in the on accident at the end. Because if it was truly an accident, he would have been from the get-go talking about some fucking, man, I accidentally slammed my step-aunt into the ground and fractured her wrist. But no, that little on accident at the end, no. That's what your lawyer told you to say, okay? I want to talk to Auntie. I want to hear the real scoop. Let's call this guy, though. You better pick up, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. You might feel a little shame about this, but I hope he picks up. I would like to question him on this scenario. Come on. Oh, pick up, dude. I have the perfect...
Your call has been forwarded.
Damn it!
Hello?
Yo, I heard you beat the fucking brakes out of your step-aunt. You mind being recorded?
Yeah. Hold up. Give me 1 second. I have to clock out for my lunch real quick.
Oh, take your time. Take your time.
Thank you.
Do you need me to call you back or something, or are you just gonna do it real quick?
No. I just have to clock out real quick.
Okay, yeah. Just let me know when you're ready. I'll be chilling.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so happy this guy answered. In my head, I had that rehearsed how I was gonna, introduce
I'll see you after
the phone
lunch.
call. I'll see y'all for lunch. Let me go to the parking lot and tell this guy how I beat my auntie up.
Walk to my car and stuff.
Oh, go ahead. No, take it.
Right now.
Walk at a normal pace. You don't have to run or anything. We got time to blow,
All right. So Oh, let me get my other AirPod in too.
Make sure you're in a secluded area, bro. I don't think your coworkers want to hear how you broke your aunt's wrist.
No. Yeah.
You know, go to the car or something. Yeah.
So I really, as soon as I saw like you post, I was like, oh, let me just put this in. Thought of it. I was like, oh, yeah, this is probably going to get it.
Yeah, you called like 4 minutes after I posted this, so I know this is right on the top of your brain.
Yeah. All right, I am outside right now. Okay. This is like back in like right now I'm like 21.
Okay.
This is back in like eighth or ninth grade.
Oh, so a long time ago now.
Really long time ago, man. Really long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I'm going to school and normal day. I get to my second last period and I have the teacher name is Duncan.
Okay.
Fuck my life. I hated this bitch. Fuck. Little short white lady. She fucking hated me. I mean, she's kind of like a little racist to everybody. I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm a little tanner on the side.
So she's being racist and shit.
But I have to give the fact that I was also fucking an asshole too.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of failed one of my tests, I guess. And what happened was I took the test, redid all the answers, threw away my old test, and put my new test in her folder without her noticing. My slick ass thought she would have noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up calling my at the time uncle and my step aunt. I live with them. My mother is out of the picture, so I started to live with them. And right around this time, I'm going second year with them, and I had to fuck it up by coming home, arguing with my uncle. Oh fuck, where's my keys? Where are my keys? Did I just leave them inside work? Oh my fucking god!
Go grab your keys if you need them. It's fine, you know.
Oh no. I got the keys.
Okay, fine.
Basically, I come home, and he says, "How's school?" And I said, "It was pretty good. I did really well on my tests. I did really well at practice at football." And he tells me, "Okay, well, you want to go upstairs real quick and then come back down?" And I go upstairs. My door is taken off, and I only have a bed in there.
What?
No match, no like air, like no bed spring, just plain mattress, my blanket, one pillow, my dresser, which is full of clothes, and no TV, just that. And I'm like, fuck. Like I'm like fuck. So I'm starting to crash out. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck happened? And he's like, you know what the fuck happened? Like my uncle, he's just fucking yelling at me. We're going back and forth.
Uh-huh.
And my aunt, I really did hate this. Like this shit really did fucking like fuck with me. Like over a short period of time, I want to give it like three months. I really fucking sat in that room, just contemplated what I did after. But she's kind of like the mediator and everything. So we argue for about an hour or two, and then she comes home to this argument, and she basically just says, get outside. And I just cuss her out. I cuss her out I say, fuck you, fuck all this shit. Fuck you to my uncle. And I'm like, I'm really started just fucking calling them like the meanest of shit. Like I fucking hate you, cunt. Like I really did remember saying that.
I can hear in your voice that you're like really reliving this shit right now. This was serious.
Yeah, it really fucking sucked. It really fucking sucked because I really do regret it. But it was really a turning point in my life. I'm not gonna lie. It really was. It really fucked me up. So she tells me to go outside after like 10 minutes of me just yelling at both of them and them yelling at me. And I'm not gonna lie. So I really had it good. Like I had like they got me the PlayStation 4. I had like a 50-inch TV.
Oh
so,
yeah, shit was sweet.
I was really having shit was sweet. Just from like living from with like my mom and like going from with them was so much better. And I was like, fuck. Like in my head, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck my life. This has really fucked me up. But I head outside and I'm really just blacking out, like going in and out, like just seething with rage at my uncle. And she comes outside and fuck. She comes outside and she tells me, what the fuck happened? And I'm like, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Please fucking go away. And she keeps fucking trying to talk to me. She keeps telling me, fine, stay the fuck out here. And like, she goes back in 5 minutes later, she comes back out, tries to get me back inside. So she pulls me onto me, and I just fucking, I don't even know what the fuck I don't even know why I fucking did this, but I just grabbed her, picked her up, and our house that we were living at the time had like a step. So like the front porch was like concrete, and you had to step up it, and then there was like a drop off.
Oh God,
So,
I feel like I know where this is going.
Yeah, so like fuck. So she hit the concrete at the edge of it. Her back is fine.
Okay,
She didn't.
that's good.
She didn't fuck up with that, which I'm grateful, but still fucking sucks that this still happened. But she tumbles back and kind of fractures her wrist. She at the time, both her and my uncle were. My uncle's at the time the retired military. He was in Iraq and shit, so he got out like a while back, but he was still able to go on base. He met her on base,
Mm-hmm.
so they were like a 5-year relationship. She was supposed to go to her first tour to like some fucking place, I guess. I don't know where, but she was supposed to go on her first official tour, which was like
Shorty
a big
was
thing
heading
to
to
her.
Afghanistan. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was shipping out. She was really happy about it. So because she was like a sergeant, so she was a high-ranking person, and she was really happy about it. But once that happened, she had to go to the hospital. She didn't come back until like fucking 12 that night. I was literally sitting on the steps in my house, just sitting there, like not even knowing what the fuck was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched her come back inside the house and not even look at me and just walk right past me, and they just go in the room. And then my uncle just tells me, get the fuck to my room. And fuck, the weeks after that, it was just like, I want to say it took about 3 weeks before like they actually, like she actually talked to me, like good straight 3 weeks. And like I apologized after the first week, and I want to say, and she didn't even like acknowledge it.
I mean, bro, you're lucky they didn't call the cops on you, dude.
Dog. You don't even understand. Like at that point, I was. This is like fucking like new ground, and I was like fucking like 14, 15, maybe 16. I think at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, yeah, they could have called the cops, but at the same time, I don't know what the fuck would happen. I mean, like, I'm grateful that she didn't.
Yeah.
But I really do feel regretful, like, what I've done. Like, after that 3 week period, from that day, like, I did that to, like, 3 months after that, I was, like, in that room with nothing. They gave me an alarm clock. Oh, fuck my life. I was just listening, like, fucking music that was just on repeat.
Oh, was it one of the ones that had a little radio in it?
Yeah, bro. It was
fire.
Fucking, like, it wasn't fire. It was fire. At
Yeah, no, not fire, but
it was fire in the first fucking week or so of this shit. But then you like hear like the same songs, and you have nothing to look at. Like my room had nothing to look at because I didn't have a fucking window or anything. It was just straight fucking 4 walls, 1 closet, had nothing in there.
Yeah.
Bed, dresser, not even no light, just fucking ceiling light. So yeah, it was really like I was in a fucking box, and that's what I treated it like. I really did treat it like that, and I had to really step back and think about like why I'm like this, why I'm like so like rageful towards people. Like, why did I go from like 0 to 100, crash out? And
I mean, it sounds like
it
you
really
learned
did.
a lot, though. No,
Bro, dog, I'm not gonna lie. I was really just talking to myself a lot. Like, I was really talking to myself. Like, I was really having to relive that fucking incident, like, day after day after day.
mm-hmm.
Because you got to remember, like, the interaction after that 3-week period, you got to realize it wasn't like, oh, hi, how are you doing? How's school? What's this? It was like, hey, okay, all right. It was so just disconnected.
You were getting stonewalled.
Stonewall, dude, and then her son, like her young, she had 2 sons.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm already a black sheep in the family. I'm not my uncle's like blood, nor
Mm-hmm.
my aunt's blood. So I'm like a really black sheep. So her son lives with us, and he's like maybe 9 or 10, and I'm like, fuck, like I really hope he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And for a good like, I want to say a good like fucking couple months, he didn't know. But I mean, he ended up finding out. I mean, he didn't really think much of it. I mean, he was like 9 years old, and at that point, like in time, like I was having to go to school with him, or like I was having to go on like the same bus with him every morning, and like I was getting told to watch him, make sure he's going there, doing this, doing that, make sure like if they weren't home, I was supposed to be like watching him, and this little motherfucker would just be playing Xbox, and like I'd still have to sit in my room with nothing, and like he didn't even understand like why.
He's sitting there on his Xbox. He's like, I wonder why homie upstairs
Why he's
has
just-
got no door and nothing but an alarm clock.
Yeah, and like after, this was like back when he was young, and I ended up living with them until like I want to say like my junior year,
Mm-hmm.
and at that point, me and him had grown like really close. Like we were like I'd really consider him like my brother, and at that time I did. I still do. I'm not gonna lie, I still do, but I just don't see him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, I got kicked out by them, just because I got into another argument with my uncle. So yeah, it was. I was still arguing with my uncle. I was still having those little mini crash outs, but like overall, I was like more developed, more rounded, you know.
Well, I mean, to me, out of all the people that I've spoken to on this show, it sounds like you really regret what you did, Like, I even hear it in the way you tell the story. Like, I could tell you feel bad about what you did, And, like, that's more than most people who do those kind of fuck-ups can say, And, like, I think at the end of the day, as long as, like, your family moved on from it and everything, like, it's just something dumb you did when you were young.
I'm not gonna lie. From what I know, she's still kind of resentful. Like she's told me before she resentful, like she resents me for it.
Yeah.
So like there's still that stigma, and I don't think that's ever gonna go away.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to just shrug.
That's something. Yeah, I kind of ruined her like her army like career. Like she was almost at the end of her, like I think she was either at the beginning or middle of the way of her career, or for 4 years, and then she was gonna go for another 4 years. So she was gonna go for like a whole 8 year contract or something like that. So she was gonna try to make her way up to like up the ranks, and yeah.
What happened, when she got discharged, how did she adapt? Did she find a new job, or, like, what did she do?
Well, my uncle who's retired from the military is 100% disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So he has like the most amount of money you can get out of the VA, from what I know. And he was like telling her, hey, this how we move like this how we make the bands, this how we get the fucking refund.
Yeah.
And so she already had the cheat code. And that's kind of what the military is. It's kind of like a cheat code. Like if you're able to get out of there the way you want, and like with like you can really get out of that bitch with like, hey, my eyes just not working anymore. Oh, 75. You get like maybe 900. Oh, 100. 100% is like over like, I think from what I seen from my uncle's like checks, over like 15.
Wait,
So it's like
15.
it's a
Wait,
good thing.
what do you mean 15? Like 15?
Like 1,500.
How often?
Like every month.
Okay.
It's like a monthly thing. So like
Okay.
you know like how like elderly people get like that monthly check.
Yeah.
Same thing,
1,500 a
same
month
thing with
isn't that crazy though. Nowadays, especially, no.
Isn't that crazy? But back then it was. Now they're working at like they have that, and then you can get like a regular civilian job. So my uncle right now works for like a boating stuff,
Mhm.
and my aunt's like assistant to him. So they're working like they're getting paid like 20 and 23.
So
So
wait,
that plus
they're collecting disability from the VA, and then they're working jobs that
yeah.
they have to be not disabled to do. Correct me if I'm wrong.
My uncle, yes. My aunt, not so much, just because like it's her wrist. She's like doing like most like office work shit,
Yup.
you know. But my uncle, I'd say yeah. I'd say like maybe like
Your uncle's living on the edge, bro.
scammer get scammed, you know. I mean, who want to scam the government right now?
No, fuck them. Yeah,
would-
no,
like,
I'm
you
on their
gotta say
side. Don't get me wrong, bro. I would do it too if I could. Get me on those
And
fucking
right
VA
now,
benefits.
from like after I got kicked out, bro, everything had a turning point in that house. Like her son, bro, got a fucking PC set up.
Oh,
My cousin,
shit.
who's my uncle's daughter, got a fucking 2020 car, Buick.
Damn.
Buick.
You ain't get shit?
I ain't get shit. I get shit. You know what? I'm it's understandable. It's understandable. I really do regret doing that. I mean, like she really did care about me. Like that's the really hard part I really had to live with. Like she really did care about me. Like she was from the foster care system herself. She was like on the like whole. She was in Hawaii and like foster cared her out of there to California, and that's how she got to the mainland. And it was like kind of like up and down for her until like she was like 17 for her to tell me, but I don't know much about her backstory. But she really went through it, man. And I kind of fucked it. Like I really did fuck it.
You know, I think you should maybe one of these days, if she'd ever be willing, just like go get dinner with your aunt and try to like be like, yo, can we start fresh or something? Because like, dude, talking to you right now as a completely neutral third party, you have the most, like, I can literally hear it in your voice. You are the most remorseful person that's like ever called in. Like, you should for real.
I really do try to like get like a step forward, just because like you know, shitty hand dealt with like shitty car. You can't really blame that, you know.
Yep.
So yeah, you got to build up on top of that. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. Damn. Well, I really appreciate you calling in today, and I gotta say, man, I think out of all the people that have done reprehensible things and called into this show, I could tell that you are one of the most remorseful. So I wouldn't feel bad about it if you still do. I think it's something that you need to accept it. Like, hey, I fucked up, but like, you're a better person now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. I really do. I really do accept what I did. I really understand like I did wrong. But if I had a time machine, I'd do it all over again.
100%. I could tell you would.
I would do all over again. I feel like this shit would not happen to her.
100%. Maybe you just wouldn't
anyway.
have cheated on the test if you could go back. Stop it from the source,
No, I'm not gonna lie. After that year, that was like COVID, and I started like failing, and she really did help me. She helped me. She passed me into like freshman year by like doing like my computer work. I'm not gonna lie. But she kept on telling me, if you aren't cheating, you ain't trying. So
damn, that's crazy.
I would still cheat. I would still cheat. I'd still cheat.
Yeah, fuck it.
Would I crash out and be like, hey, broken wrists, hurt back? Maybe not, but definitely I would cheat. I'd definitely cheat.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I probably have a week of like probably 3 weeks of fucking nothing in my room, but I wouldn't have the trauma of like going through that.
Yep, that's right.
You know.
Damn. Well, thank you for calling in and sharing your story today, man. I don't want to hold you any longer. Get back to work, do your thing. But thanks for calling in, bro. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. I really hope this was a good story. I didn't really want to take up much of your time, but yeah.
Oh, it was a great story, dude. Thanks for sharing, man. You have a good rest of your day.
You're welcome. You as well. Bye-bye.
Yep, have a good one. Bye-bye. Damn, I feel like most of the time when I take these calls on this show, I try to stay neutral because at the end of the day, like, I don't think it's my position to judge people. Like, whether you could call my show and say, yo, I just shot my grandma in the face. And, like, I don't think it's my position to tell you, oh, you're a really bad person for that. Like, I want this call-in show to be a place where you can call in anonymously and just talk about whatever's on your mind and not feel judged for that. Now, whether the comments judge you or not is a different story. But like me, myself, I don't try to judge. But I do judge in this scenario, and I judge positively because when I heard him tell that story, you could literally hear in his voice how much he regretted that. Like, he was totally normal talking about him cheating on the test and getting in trouble and going home and his uncle being mad, all the way up until he talked about body slamming his aunt into the porch. And in that moment, you could really hear like, oh, fuck, he actually feels some type of way about this. Like, he legitimately feels bad. He's struggling to even get the words out on this portion of the story. And I really heard in him, like, yeah, he feels bad about that, And as fucked up as it is, I don't think Auntie gives a fuck how bad he feels. He ended her military career and put her on disability. But, like, it's better than someone who feels no remorse, And I think, like, people who make mistakes in their life, it's worthless to just sit there and guilt trip about it forever. Like him sitting there and being like, oh, I feel so horrible about it for the rest of his life and like holding himself back isn't really the right way to handle it, So I don't know. I hope that guy moves on from that. I hope he just uses that to be better. And also, another interesting thing he mentioned was the VA benefits from discharged military members. And I have a ton of friends who went into the military. I mean, obviously, me and all my homies in high school, my entire extended friend group, like, I can count on my fingers how many people went to college. Outside of the girls. Somehow all the girls got into college. I don't know. But, like, my boys, we're not going to college. And a lot of my friends went to the military. One of my friends even went into the Marines and was doing some, like, crazy shit. But from my understanding of how disability benefits work is like being disabled is not a requirement to collect disability benefits from the VA. Like after you get discharged from the military, a lot of people say whatever the fuck to collect benefits. And I'm not saying that to disrespect veterans. Hey, I think you deserve the money, but I don't think it should come through a disability system. You should just get a stipend or something like that. I saw one video on YouTube recently. I don't remember. I think it was on the Caleb Hammer show. It was on one of those like financial audit kind of podcasts. You guys have probably seen them. There was this veteran who went on and he was running through his bank statements, and this guy was collecting $9,500 a month from VA benefits alone. That's no other source of income. $9,500 per month from VA benefits, which adds up to like almost $120K a year. I think it's a little over that. It's like $125 a year. I don't know how taxes work on that kind of thing, but I'd imagine that's not a taxable income. And I would probably be surprised if it was. Like, dude, his aunt might have ended up with a dream outcome. You join the military right before you get deployed, your fucking bum nephew body slams you into the porch and you break your wrist and he's not doing his homework, and now you go back to the VA and you say, my wrist is broken, I need a monthly stipend. They hook you up. You don't even got to deploy anymore. Now you can just go do whatever. Damn, that might be the money glitch. Honestly, you guys in the comments, like if anyone who wants to join the military, say I. And then anyone who wants to body slam a military member, reply to them and say me. And then you guys can connect up and maybe farm some benefits or something. I don't know. Shit seems pretty sweet over there. But yeah, that guy, I could tell that guy felt bad about that. You know? That's all the comment I have. Ladies and gents, the next voicemail we have on the list is someone who, I'm not going to call this individual back if I'm being completely honest, but I want to play the voicemail because I found it absolutely hilarious. Among the sea of completely degenerate voicemails from people who are calling in talking about crashing their cars drunk and fleeing the scene, body slamming their auntie, spray painting their girlfriend's car because she's cheating, we found this one lone individual whose balls haven't dropped yet. And he's calling about the time that he got in a fight at a sleepover. And I just want to play this because this might be my favorite voicemail of the day. Not because it's super entertaining, but because this guy's just too young to watch my content. Like, I'm not going to lie, this guy's parents need to install Norton on his computer and, like, figure that shit out. I remember I had that on my computer when I was a kid, all right? It was rough. I had to ask my mom to allow RuneScape through the fucking firewall to actually play the game. But let's listen in.
Hey, Goblin. My worst crash out was at a sleepover with my friend on his birthday. Or wait, no. What? Maybe not on his birthday, but we had a
My worst crash out was at a sleepover is like all I need to hear, but we're going to play it through.
sleepover. It was me, my friend, and 2 other friends. And, yeah, so it was 3 other people. And we're all in the room, just, like, hanging out. And then, our one friend, he's kind of annoying sometimes, but, we still fuck with him because, like, he's been around us, like, for years. And so, yeah, he's just doing shit and kind of being annoying, and I'm just like, and I just, like, I just tackled him, and then we started fighting and stuff, and then...
See, this is how I know that this guy is definitely a very young individual. Because when I was like 13, this was like, if I got presented this call-in show when I was like 13, I would have called in and said something along these lines. Not even 2 years later, I was finessing my lifetime friends out of $10 for Xanax. Specifically, there was a kid that I went to elementary school with that I finessed out of $10 to buy fuck all. Actually, I think it was weed, not Xanax. But Xanax would have been the better outcome, at least in my retrospective opinion. However, let's keep listening here.
He's like pulling my hair and shit, and then, but yeah, I tossed him to the ground a few times, but yeah, after that, we just kind of fucking, yeah, that's basically, that's like the main, yeah, that's what happened. And then
he's telling the story like he's going to get grounded for saying it out loud. Like he's like, fuck, dude, Ma's listening through the crack in the floor.
We became friends again and started cleaning with each other.
Man, I'm not going to call this guy back in total honesty because he is definitely too young to speak on this show, I think. And I mean that in a respectful way. Listen, if you're a young person, that's cool. This guy is too young to maybe watch my content, but I can't control that. He's going to watch it either way. What I will say to him is I'll share one of my sleepover stories from when I was younger. This isn't really a crash out story, but when I was younger, me and my friends, we all had sleepover at my boy Jason's house. We would do this like every weekend or every other weekend, depending on who was available and what the vibe was. And since we were like 13, usually it was more so like whose parents could drive us all there. And if no one was available, then we'll link up next weekend. But we used to have a friend group of 4 to 5 people. It was me, my friend Jason. I had another friend who was also named Nick. So, we would use our last initial. I'm not going to air out what his last initial was. Sometimes we would have my other friend named Calvin. He would show up every now and then. And then there was this guy named Zach, who was also in my middle school friend group at the time. And we were having these sleepovers, and we met each other and became friends and started hanging out outside of school when we were all in like 5th or 6th grade. We were all super young, like 10, 11-year-old kids. Our balls hadn't dropped. All of a sudden, 8th grade comes around. We're like 14. Our balls had dropped, right? So our friend Zach, I guess peak puberty, decides that he needs to jack off at the sleepover. And we're all crashing in my friend Jason's basement. We're sleeping in different spots. Some of us, he had this giant L-shaped couch that fit like at least 3 people. We're all sleeping there, and this kid jacks off onto a pillow. Like, he literally grabs a pillow off the couch, he goes to the corner of the basement, and beats his shit onto the pillow. And my other friend, Jason, who, you know, his parents own the house that we're all sleeping in, wakes up while he's doing this and catches him doing this. And it was the last time that we ever hung out with Zach. And Zach was an individual who, like, after this incident, we were all convinced, like, yo, he's going to shoot a school up. Like, this kid's fucked in the head. He's insane. What ended up happening with this kid is, from my understanding, he became a normal guy after this. However, he had a bit of a contradiction in his life. You see, for a couple years after we stopped being friends, he got online and he started posting, like, really questionable, like, what's the word I'm looking for? He was posting, like, these almost, like, politically charged, like, racist things on Facebook. Controversial is a good way to put it. Yeah, controversial. But honestly, I feel like controversial is even understating the shit this kid would post. And mind you, this was after we all stopped being friends. Like, a year later, we found him again on Facebook, and it's like, oh, he's a Proud Boy, you know? Like, oh, okay. Fucking junior year of high school comes around. It's prom time. This guy, after spending the 2 years estranged from our friend group, like, I don't know what he was doing, posting crazy shit, never became a part of our friend group again. He ends up settling down with this woman who is, like, an extremely left-leaning, like, posted on, like, back when we were in high school, like, super, super politically active girl. It was, like, going to all the, like, rallies, the Democratic stuff, and, like, posting all that. She had some picture of her, like, on the stage asking, like, a question to some Illinois political candidate, you know, like a T3 politician. A tier 1 politician is like, okay, you're a governor or like a state, you know, maybe even higher than that. Maybe you're even in the White House. A tier 2 politician is like, okay, you're the mayor of a town. And then a T3 politician is like, okay, you're on the housing board for your neighborhood. This is like a T3 politician. She's like on her Instagram posting with her. But also, this kid that was in our friend group was posting like deeply racist things, and then goes to prom with a girl who was effectively standing against everything he ever posted about, which was amazing. And then he grew up even further. One of my friends got back in contact with him, and he's just like a normal IT developer now. So he went through his phase of jacking off at sleepovers, okay, nutting on pillows and then getting kicked out of the sleepover, to then like his political extremism phase, which now I think a lot of people are going through. But like back then, this was a niche thing. He'd really found a niche. And then he settles down with like a really left-leaning woman as he's a really right-leaning guy, and they somehow met in the middle, you know? We probably should have done what this kid did and, you know, tackled him and beat his ass for jacking off on the pillow at the sleepover, but he had his cock in his hands, so that kind of makes it a little harder because, I mean, what am I going to do? Put my hands on him? What do you think of the logic in that? It's like, that might be gay, you know? In middle school, that's a cardinal sin, dude. You can't say you're gay or they're going to make fun of you. So we're not doing all that. So we just kicked him the fuck out. But that is the only sleepover story I have that's notable. What I will say to that young viewer, if you're listening to this episode right now, none of that will matter in 2 years when all your friends start taking Xanax, okay? So forget about it, all right? Just wait till you all start doing drugs. You discover intoxicants. Then things get really interesting. You'll really crash out when you run out of bars and your homie owes you a dub, okay? Trust me. Next up on the call list, though, someone who I think is old enough to call into the show. We have yet another drunk fucking driver. Just absolutely disgustingly intoxicated individuals calling into my show today. Let's listen in.
Hey, Goblin. I just want...
Dude, he sounds like a drunk driver. If I had to pick one voicemail out of my lineup today to just solely profile based on their voice and be like, yo, he breathalyze him, probably this guy, dude.
to call about the time I crashed the fuck out and ended up getting arrested. Only time I've been arrested was for an OWI on New Year's. Crashed the fuck out at a party. Had to leave. totaled my car, got arrested, the whole fucking 9 yards. It was, might have been influenced by more than just the booze. But if you're curious at all, give me a call back, brother. I'd be happy to tell you about it.
You got me, dude. I'm curious. You hooked me. I'm not gonna lie. Fill me in, dude. OWI on New Year's. Had to leave the party. Fill me in, dude. If this guy doesn't answer, I'm gonna read his phone number out loud as well. So just getting you all prepared for that.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
It starts with a 5. I'm not going to go any further, honestly. If any of you guys watching this video, if you secretly said to yourselves, he won't really do it, you're probably right. You know, but I'm definitely going to threaten it every time. Because that kind of conduct is unacceptable. And that's the first non-answer we've gotten today. Okay? Also, if you're going to a party, just call a fucking Uber. You know? It's genuinely not worth it. I've been to numerous parties that got popped before, and there was one in particular that I remember really well where it was a huge house party. I have no idea how many people were there, but it was like this party reached beyond our school district even. It was massive. Everywhere in this house was shoulder to shoulder, and someone called the cops. The cops show up at the front door, and I remember I was standing like right at the base of the stairs when the cops knocked on the door. The dude at the front door just turns around, just yells, "Cops!" or like something like that. The backsliding door opens. A stampede is charging through the backyard. They knock down the fence. Literally, I shit you not, there's like a 6-foot tall wooden fence, taller than most of us at the party, just trampled over, and everyone's just stepping over it and shit. And me and my homies, I remember we dipped out of that backyard and then just dove into some bushes, and we were hiding for a while, waiting for the neighborhood to clear out because we drove there along with a ton of other people who attended the party, and the cops were just nailing everybody that pulled out. Like literally you could see the lights from like 2 houses over in between the yards. Like you could see people getting lit up, and it's like, yo, just wait. Like we'll wait a little bit. We'll go later. That shit is, word of advice, professional advice here. Just Uber to every party. And if it gets popped, just walk like 5 or 6 blocks and then leave. Or call an Uber, because at the end of the day, Ubering out of the party, even if your Uber gets pulled over and he kicks you out, you didn't do anything illegal inherently. If you just get in an Uber while you're drunk, in fact, you actually did the right thing. You actually made the correct choice. Whether the cops view it that way is up for debate, but you did definitely make the right choice. So, word of advice, don't drive to a party. You never know what's going to happen. You know, just call a little Uber, walk over, do whatever you got to do. Or if you have to drive to a party, if you have no choice, park far away. Like legitimately, your car is probably safer parking in the grocery store parking lot that's nearest to you, or like a gas station nearest to you, as opposed to just driving there. Don't fuck yourself over. It's all right, though, you know. The guy not picking up the phone fucked me over. Thanks, dickhead. Next up on the call-in list, though, we have someone who's hopefully going to pick up the phone. This is someone who got arrested for public indecency on their 21st birthday. Their voicemail doesn't say much more than that, but I'll play it anyways, just so you can hear it.
Hey, Gob. I'd love to tell you about the time I got arrested for public indecency on my 21st birthday. Call me back.
I'm imagining he's just stroking his shit on the street corner. Because public indecency is a very unique charge. Like that is different from like public intoxication. Like indecency, what were you doing? Like I know you're doing something indecent. Let's call him. Better pick up the phone, dog.
What's going on?
Yo, I heard you got arrested for a little public indecency. You mind being recorded? You're on the Gobcast.
I don't mind being recorded at all.
I'm very intrigued by your voicemail. You know, that shit was short and sweet. You got to fill me in.
All right. So, my 21st birthday. I'm going to do what everybody else is going to do, right?
Get drunk.
Get fucked up.
Yep.
And so me and my boy go out, get wasted, hit it on some girls, fail. So we're like, fuck it. We're going to call it a night.
Okay.
We're leaving out of the back of the bar. He's got to take a leak, and I got to take a leak. So we go behind some dumpsters, and we do our shit. We walk out, and like 8 undercover cops come out, and we get arrested. So they take us in, and it's like, that ride sucks. Nothing.
Wait, hold on though. You're pissing on the dumpster and like cops just pop out on you and cuff you, or how did this play out? Describe it a little more.
So I'm thinking that they see us like stumbling to the parking lot.
Okay.
And they're about to like pick us up for a DUI.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have been so much worse. And honestly, it's better that than fucking. So these fucking 2 undercover cars, like unmarked cars, fucking roll up and they take us in. Mad cops. And so I'm fucking causing a scene. Fucking he's causing the scene. They're pissed. And so we spend the night in jail.
Okay. What do you mean by causing a scene? Like when these cops come up to you and press you for pissing, are you like yelling at them? Are you swinging on them? Or what kind of scene are you causing?
Nah, we're not swinging on them. Just fucking bitching them out.
Okay.
Making them have a bad night. And so I get fucking...
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I knew that was coming. That might be the first time this has ever happened on air, though. Do not edit that out. We just caught somebody. That motherfucker just hung up on me 2 minutes in after telling a story that I'm pretty sure was made up. I'm almost certain. I'm not gonna lie. The voicemail, the tone of his voice, he had me hooked a little bit. I got arrested for public indecency on my 21st birthday. But 2 minutes, I could tell almost immediately he was going through the story too quickly. And I'm going to leave this in the show for you guys because this is an example of when I tell y'all there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that y'all don't see that goes into these caller episodes. It's shit like that. People who call in and they speak 2 minutes of their story and they were never expecting me to call back and they're bullshitting or they're too nervous and they just hang the fuck up. That is a much more common occurrence than you guys might realize, dude. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that guy was probably bullshitting me right now. Just by the way he described that story. I mean, bro hung the fuck up on me. I asked him for detail. He says he's pissing by the dumpster and then cops pull up. It's like, well, what do you fucking mean? They're not deploying an undercover unit to pop dudes pissing on the dumpster. They're going to sit by the parking lot and wait until you leave and then pull you over. I say that because all my homies when I was younger, we used to go drinking together in the same area and you had to be careful. Because if you drove there, you better have a DD or you're getting pulled. I got pulled over on my way back from the bar with my boys multiple times. They would stake out, just watch the parking lot. Everyone who went to this bar that we went to, it was one of the most popular like college bars in the area, and everyone parked in the same lot. So they would literally just have people just posted up in the alleyways, like watching that lot. Like, hey, this guy just came over from the bar. He pulled out. He looks drunk as fuck. So his story, I'm not going to lie, made no fucking sense from the beginning. Okay? It made absolutely no fucking sense. But let this be a word of warning to everyone calling into the show. If you call in and you leave me a voicemail, be prepared for a call back and expect me to call back. Because if you don't, you're going to end up like this guy. Whether or not he was lying about a story, I don't care. I believe he was because of the way he hung up the phone call. And that's that. So please suck my balls for wasting my time. The entire circumference of the ball as well. Not just a little smooch. The whole thing. Get the sack in there. All right? You're an asshole for doing that. You also just wasted the audience's time, which is not cool. But that's okay, because you know what we're going to do that's not a waste of time? Is we're going to read some comments, ladies and gentlemen. This has become a new little feature in our caller episodes, and something that I think I'd just like to continue doing on the Gobcast in general, which is reading comments. You guys leave me some very, very exciting comments every week. Some very fun ones to read through, to say the least. And we're just going to start from the top. So, with our first comment of the day, we have the Ben9701. And he says, how the fuck am I supposed to know I'm watching the Gobcast if the intro doesn't say, you are now watching the Gobcast? Listen, I'm going to tell you guys something, okay? Our producer on this show, Chris, he reads your comments and he takes them very personally. So if 2 people comment saying they don't like the intro, he's going to remove the intro. And then if 2 people comment saying they missed the intro, he's going to add the intro back, like he more than likely did for this episode. So just understand, someone, not me, but someone is taking your guys' comments to heart. All right? Very personally. Through my years of doing this, I've realized that probably 99% of the comments shouldn't take super seriously, because you can't please everybody. But there's a few people that control the cameras here that want to please everybody. So today in the intro, it probably said you're now watching the Gobcast. If not, there must have been a flood of comments saying fuck the intro. And that's where we're at. Personally, I don't know. Just wait till you see me on the screen. Then you certainly know you're watching the Gobcast, right? But, Ben, thank you for supporting the intro. You know, some people don't like the intro. Now that we've put the intro back, there's probably going to be many comments this week like, Goblin, I fucking love not having the intro. And that intro sucked dick. All right, frown about it, I guess. You know, hey, welcome to the Gobcast. Next up, we have Willmeister624. And Willmeister says, talking about injecting DMT, and this is in reference to a caller I spoke to on episode 80, the last caller episode. He says, there's some scientists that recently figured out that through an IV drip, you can keep people in the peak for as long as you want. And they did it for hours instead of 10 minutes. Wild. You know, I love, like, whenever I see scientific studies like that, because scientists must have the sweetest fucking job on earth. Like, imagine waking up and walking into a lab and you're just like, yo, what if we drip feed people Deems for 3 fucking hours? And, like, no shit, they're going to peak for 3 hours if you continually feed them DMT for 3 hours. Have you ever parachuted acid? Like, anyone who's done psychs before should know that, but scientists get to pull up and be like, hey, I've made this groundbreaking scientific discovery. I discovered that people stay high on drugs for 3 hours if you drip feed them drugs for 3 hours. And it's like, yo, that's fucking crazy, dog. Like, being a scientist has to be sick, dude. I would do some fucked up experiments. Not on animals, probably on people, which might get me in more trouble than just doing it on animals. But, like, yeah, I don't know. I like animals and I don't like people. So, like, I'd probably take your auntie and just wire the fuck up on meth for a week and see what it does, you know? But, like, your dog, I probably wouldn't do that to him. He's probably a good dog, you know? Next up on the comment list from XNEFXMI. He says, Earth Day is the most diabolical reason to eat 5 grams. And this is in reference to the caller in episode 80 who mentioned that he ate 5 grams of shrooms to celebrate Earth Day. You know, there's something that I think every drug user does. You don't even have to be an addict, dude. I almost said drug addict, but I stopped myself. Every drug user or drug enthusiast will find absolutely any excuse to get fucked up. It doesn't matter what it is. I remember when I was younger, me and a couple of my friends, I had this friend group who, like, were some real degens. And we used to use the Jimmy John's free sandwich day as an excuse to skip school and drop acid. And we did it every fucking year, dude. Jimmy John's, I think it was in April, if I remember correctly. Let's Google this, actually. Hold on. Do they still do this? Jimmy John's used to have a promotion where, like, you could show up and get a free, what was it, an 8-inch sub or something? Let's see. Wait, they don't fucking do it anymore? Wait, are you serious? Okay. Well, this just pissed me the fuck off to find out they're not doing it anymore. But I will say, once upon a time when I was in high school, maybe this was just a local thing, but I don't think it was. I remember this being like a national thing. Jimmy John's used to have a day of the year where they would give out free sandwiches. And it was just a normal, like no sides, no drink or nothing, just for free. You didn't have no purchase necessary. The line would literally be around the block. It was just a free 6-inch sub. And I remember... Yeah, it was like the 7-Eleven free Slurpee day, but Jimmy John's edition. And I remember me and my friends would all skip school and we'd go line up at Jimmy John's and get our free subs. And then we would just smoke in the parking lot and then go home and drop acid. And it was like a holiday for us. We were like, yes, dude, that was our bicycle day. It was like, yes, bro, it's fucking Jimmy John's sub day. We're tweaking balls by 5 p.m. It's amazing, you know? Stuff like that is what makes it fun. Like, if you just wake up every day and eat shrooms or eat acid, it's boring. But if you wait until you hit your benchmark to eat acid, then it's great. And Jimmy John's Sandwich Day was my fucking benchmark with the homies. Maybe some of you guys in the comments will remember what I'm talking about, but I swear, I can't find it on Google. I'm not going to waste our time Googling further, but I swear Jimmy John's used to have a national free sandwich day. I hope it wasn't local, and if it was, you guys fucking missed out. But either way, next up here, we have WC Games 199. And he says, this is one of the only channels I watch that I know is 100% no AI. Very refreshing. I appreciate that. I appreciate the recognition for that. Listen, dude, I mean, some of you guys maybe just watch the podcast and none of my other contents you might not know. I very staunchly, is that the right word? I don't know. I very strictly oppose AI, and specifically like images or videos generated by AI. I don't mind like ChatGPT or like chatbots. You can ask it a question. That's whatever. But I think AI creating images and generating videos is fucked up. And I'm not the kind of person where I want to outsource my work. You know, I'd rather give, like my thumbnails, for example, none of them are AI. I pay a real human that I've known for years. The guy who does my thumbnails I've known this guy for like a decade, right? He's a good graphic designer. Every piece of this show, every piece of media that I put out is created by a real person. Every step of the way is handled by a real person. There's no AI involvement in anything I do. And it's just because I personally believe that taking a job away from a real graphic designer and giving it to a robot is just a scummy thing to do, you know? And I think the overall quality is better when you let a real human use their real human creativity versus some AI algorithm outputting some shit that they really just pulled from Google Images and, you know, made a compilation to give you a thumbnail that fits your query or whatever. I don't like doing that. Fundamentally, I think AI is a bad concept in terms of video and image generation, and there shouldn't be a single AI on this planet that is capable of creating realistic video or realistic images, because the implications of that are terrifying. Like, you guys have probably already seen, there's super famous, way more famous than myself. I'm a very middle tier content creator. There's like super top end content creators and Twitch streamers where AI is being used to generate videos of them saying racial slurs and stuff like that. And what is the benefit? Like, why do we need AI to create this content when we already have real humans that are capable of doing it? It's just another form of outsourcing. I view it the same way as like, when they put the robots in fast food places. You guys probably remember there was that big, probably about 10 years ago, there was that huge news storm of like, oh, robot arms are flipping burgers at fucking In-N-Out now. And I think that's fucked up too. Anything that takes a job from a real person is fucked up. So yeah, I mean, here on this channel, you guys are never going to see AI, point blank, period. You're not going to see an AI thumbnail. You're not going to see AI edits. You're not going to see that kind of thing. I don't like that. That's not what I stand for. I'm a very principled person. I think being stubborn has affected me in many negative ways in my life, but one of the positive ways it's impacted me is on this topic here. I am so stubborn that I'll never use AI, okay? I just won't fucking fold. I'm not going for it. Next up in the comment section, we have Ostrich Boots, and he says, him and Alex Jones are a perfect example of how drugs hit everyone differently, and him being myself. Yeah, listen, Alex Jones probably does. If you guys have ever seen a clip of that guy will. You think I can clear a bag quickly? Alex fucking Jones has to be destroying bags of. Like what that guy is, I've never heard him speak normally. He just screams. What I will say, sometimes cocaine can do one of two things. It can either make you a cool guy like me, or it can make you hate minorities, okay? Like Alex Jones. Thankfully, I just ended up being a cool guy, you know? But little word of warning with the blow usage. Next up on the comment section here, we have Brandon2749. And he is specifically commenting about a caller I got in episode 80 who was in a questionable relationship at the age of 19. He says, I love Goblin and his advice, even if it's not the best, but I've been with my high school sweetheart. So him telling bro to immediately not take a relationship serious till 21 is kind of just flat out wrong. Yes, it's less serious at that age losing them, but he's not incapable of having a serious relationship at 19. I've been married for 2 years and got married at his age, and I wouldn't trade it for a damn thing in the world. Listen, more power to you. If you found love at the age of 19, at the age of 19, my girlfriend was getting trains ran on her. Okay? It was not pleasant. At that age, nothing matters, though. In my life, and this is just my personal experience, I would say nothing I did mattered at all until I was like 20 or 21. You know, crime-wise, yeah, once I turned 18, things mattered. But outside of that, it's like, dude, you're so young. When you're 19 years old, like, okay, you break up with your girlfriend. It doesn't fucking matter. You're 19 years old. When I gave that dude the advice I did, it wasn't like, oh, I didn't necessarily mean it as like, oh, every relationship at that age. It's more so like the average person cannot sit there and expect their 19-year-old relationship to be, you know, the end-all, be-all. Out of all my friends that I went to school with, you know, I went to high school with, I know one guy who was still with his high school sweetheart. And, like, I don't know. If I were him, I'd probably want to fuck her pretty bad because, like, that's kind of boring, dude. High school, you just saying you bagged one chick and that was it? I don't know. Hey, I'm glad you're in love. More power to you. But, like, yo, I don't know, man. Personally, I just think it's better to tell people that are young that, like, you got time to fix it as opposed to, like, fuck, man, they could have been the love of your life. Because what are you going to do? Go back and trip about it? No, that's not helpful to anybody. Not yourself, not the other party. Fuck all that, you know? You're 19, man. Like, I was tripping over a bunch of stuff that, like, people twice his age aren't even tripping about, you know? There's people that are, you know, 40 years old that are sitting there and, like, they're not focusing on those kind of things like that guy was. I think he had his head on a little too straight. He needed to, like, loosen it, you know? Loosen up that screw a little bit. I don't know. But at the end of the day, doesn't matter, you know? If you found your the love of your life at 19, more power to you. That's great and all. But also, there's nothing wrong with just doing hookers until you're 30. Figure it out. Or till you're 40 or 50, you know? Whatever you want to do. Next up in the comment section, this is actually our last comment of the day, and this is a very, very interesting one. I love this. This topic fascinates me, so I'm really excited to speak on it. Landon God left a comment on episode 80, our last caller episode, in reference to the mycologist that we spoke with. That guy was really into shrooms, and he says, I've always speculated for good reason that the subjective variance in mushroom trips between differing strains of shrooms is the varying presence of what are likely unidentified alkaloids that possess some type of psychoactivity or that contribute to the experience. You know, if you've ever done lab psilocybin, how, for lack of a better way to say it, empty the experience is. I'll definitely be tripping, but there isn't that weird, radiant, otherly presence, and I never get those spiritual feelings of interconnected unity. There are studies done on this that have determined that natural mushrooms tend to demonstrate higher therapeutic efficacy to synthetic psilocybin, which I think is evidence that there is something else inside of the mushroom. And further, whatever that something else is might vary depending on strain, like how density of psilocybin varies. I agree with this 100%. I think Landon is right on the money here. And I would even go further than that and say that any drug produced naturally is comparative to this statement in the sense that, like, shrooms, for example, it's not just psilocybin that makes you trip in there. Shrooms are something that grow naturally straight out of the ground here on Earth. And there's a million different substances that could be contained in that shroom. When you think of lab-made drugs like LSD, for example, there's only one active chemical in that. LSD. There's not any entourage effect or terpenes or natural additives in that substance because pardon me, little whiskey burp, the only way to produce that substance is in a scientific setting, in a lab. You have to synthesize it. You can't go out in nature and like, oh, dude, I found the fucking acid tree, bro, and just like eat a leaf. That's not how it works. But with substances that are natural, like cannabis and like shrooms, I think it's ignorant to think that there isn't a million underlying components of that impact your high, right? With shrooms, the way that he describes how if you've ever taken lab psilocybin, it feels empty. I've never done lab psilocybin personally, so I can't speak on that, but I've consumed THC isolate before. Those diamonds that you guys see where they're 99% THC and 0% terps, those barely get you high. You're meant to use those as a topper on top of like what you're already smoking. Smoking those independently barely scratch the surface of getting stoned. And that's because there's no terpenes in it. With weed, we know for a fact, it's already proven that THC is far from the only thing that impacts your high. And the reason that strains are different, like if I smoke a lemon haze and I smoke a GDP, they're so different from each other, even though I smoked THC and I smoked cannabis, is because of the terpenes. I think it's ignorant to then look at shrooms and be like, oh, dude, it's just psilocybin. There's no terps or there's no entourage, there's no other impact on your high. I think that's just simply not true. What I really think it is there is just a severe lack of understanding and research into psilocybin mushrooms to determine why they affect you the way they do. And this whole topic is partially why I've come around to shrooms as an adult, because I recognize that like shrooms are the coolest psychedelic of them all. LSD is very one-dimensional. Like, yeah, you can take acid, but your trip is your trip, and that's that. Shrooms, like, dude, I can eat penis envy shrooms, and I can eat Liberty Cap shrooms, and I can tweak out entirely differently on both of those, even though theoretically, on paper, I consumed psilocybin both times. It's because psilocybin is far from the only thing getting me high. It's that collective effect of all the components of shrooms. I would love to see more research into psilocybin mushrooms. I would love if we had an understanding of it. And even more so than all of that, it would be amazing if we could legally go to the dispo and buy shrooms the same way we buy weed, and they have terpene test results. So they have, I'm just using terps as a substitute word because we don't have a scientific word for whatever the fuck is in shrooms outside of the psilocybin. But, you know, it's some sort of testing breakdown, like, oh, this strain of shrooms has this percentage of whatever it is that makes you trip this certain way, and this one makes you feel this certain way. There's a ton that we don't get about shrooms. It's fascinating. We're in an interesting time right now where, like, genuinely the best research being done on psychedelic mushrooms is done by the people that are just eating a handful of them and fucking documenting it, you know, because there's no further scientific research than that. Scientists out there at home, you know, where's my my chemistry majors or whatever degree you need to do that kind of thing? I don't know. I dropped out of high school. Go eat a handful of shrooms today and figure it the fuck out. You know, I'm very intrigued. But, ladies and gents, that's episode 82. Another wonderful Gobcast call-in episode talking about crash outs today. And this is a very, very good one and a very, very fun one. I appreciate you all for calling in and sharing your stories today. And I also appreciate you all for watching the show. Make sure to leave a comment below talking about whatever you want, because I'm reading comments nowadays. So you can support the show. You can hate the show. You can talk about, you know, callers all you want. Comment below and call me a dumb idiot. I don't really care, as long as you leave a comment. Thank you all for watching this episode. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to get your hands on some Only Gas, because we recently restocked the site. By the time this goes up, it might be sold out. But yeah, some very fun new shit on Only Gas. So type that in on Google and figure it out. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Episode 83. Deuces. 82. Well, this is it. Well, I meant like, I'll see you in 83. You know, like this is 82, but like, I'll see you in the next one, episode 83, you know? Either way, fuck it, dude. I'll see y'all next week. Deuces.
You're now watching the Gobcast. Viewer discretion is advised. You can now watch the Gobcast in 4K uncensored exclusively on Spotify.